We heard earlier you work for the New Richmond Police Department,
Yes.
and you interviewed Ariel as part of this investigation.
Yes.
So when you went to that interview, did you bring any still frames from the video with you?
The investigators that accompanied me had some various frames, still frames.
And do you recall what those showed and why they were brought?
They kind of showed correlation between some of the witnesses compared to where the events were happening. And so they were kind of brought to try to identify some of the witnesses as well as to where the people were and hopefully get some information from the witnesses if they knew who was where, and who they were, what they were wearing.
Was there one that showed Ariel standing next to Nikolai when Nikolai had the knife in his hand?
Yes.
And so did you ask Ariel what he saw?
Throughout the interview that we had discussed, particularly where he was and what he could see, what he couldn't see. The picture came up after he told us he wasn't up by where everything had occurred, that he had never gotten close to Nikolai. And so that's when we showed him that photo.
And after so in the context of him saying he never got close, was he saying he didn't see anything Nick did?
Yes, he repeatedly said there was so many people between him and the event that it was hard for them to understand what was going on or to see anything that Nick did.
And after you showed him the photo of him standing next to Nikolai when Nikolai had the bloody knife, did he still maintain that he didn't see Nick do anything?
Initially, he was rather surprised that he was that close. I think seeing the actual knife in Nick's hand surprised him more than anything. He then stated he didn't recall being that close to Nikolai.
And did he still deny seeing Nick do anything?
Correct. Yes.
Did he ever say anything even remotely close to that he saw Nikolai defend himself?
No.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. Nelson?
You just told this jury that Ariel told, I think your testimony was he, being Ariel, repeatedly said it was hard to see. Is that your testimony?
He had mentioned that more than once, yes.
He told you, we looked over there and we saw a lot, there were two groups in front of us. He said those words. Agreed?
Yes.
He said there were a lot of people. Agreed?
Correct.
He said, I saw it from far away, was like as if they were bullying him.
That's what he said, yes.
He said, when I see it, I thought it was bullying.
Yes.
He said, they pushed him, he fell, he fell.
Yes.
He said, he got up, he being Mr. Mew. Ariel said, Mew got up and they started beating him, women as well as men.
Yes.
He said, I only saw when they were beating him.
Yes.
So despite your saying that he told you repeatedly it was hard to see, he told you repeatedly, actually, that he saw these two groups of people beating Mr. Mew. He said that, right?
Also, yes.
You asked him questions about Mr. Mew, correct?
Yes.
And when you asked him questions about Mr. Mew, he told you the man was a quiet person, correct?
Yes.
he told you Nick was really mellow
Objection,
and cool.
objection. It's character evidence, impermissible.
90801, prior consistent statement.
I'll overrule prior consistent statement. It's also evidence of his demeanor on the day in question. Please continue.
He told you Nick is a calm person, correct?
Yes.
Doesn't get angry a lot, agreed?
I don't know if he said
Judge,
that.
I move to strike.
Sorry, it doesn't get any what? I didn't hear the last part of the question.
Ask the question.
I just want to read from the transcript, okay? At times, you're asking Ariel questions, correct? In
Yes.
Spanish. Ariel would answer you in Spanish.
Both sometimes, but yes.
And then you had a colleague there, correct?
Two of them, yes.
And your colleagues that were there didn't understand Spanish, correct?
Correct.
So sometimes in the moment, when Ariel would tell you something, you would turn and tell the officers, here's what he said, correct?
Yes.
And one of the times that you said that, you said, it sounds like Day he was calm too. Is he a calm person or does he get angry a lot? You
Judge-
asked him that question, correct?
Judge, I'm going to object. Can we approach?
Yes.
What, just one last quote from page 38 of the transcript. What Ariel never wavered on is saying that they did see that they were beating him up. Correct?
Correct.
Nothing else.
Mr. Anderson?
He also never wavered on saying that he never saw Nick. He didn't see Nick do anything.
Correct.
Nothing else.
Anything else?
He never said the words, I didn't see Nick do anything. Those aren't his words, correct?
I would have to reread the whole transcript if those were correct or not.
He didn't say those words.
Objection
I'd have to
asked and
read it.
answered. He needs to see the transcript.
The objection's overruled. Mr. Nelson, if you want to pursue that, you may.
You can't cite anywhere in the transcript where he said those words that you just said he did.
If you have the transcripts and that's what you're saying, then I would agree with you.
I'm not the witness, sir, you are. You agree?
That I'm not the witness, you're not the witness? Yes, I agree.
You agree that as you sit here right now, you don't have a memory, knowledge, information that he said what you said under oath, I never saw Nick do anything. He didn't say those words.
Those exact words I could not recall if those what were the exact words, sir.
But even if you can't recall it, you still said it under oath in a murder trial.
Sustained, it's argumentative, sustained.
I'll move on. Nothing else.
All right, thank you. Investigator, you may step down.